We are more than happy to announce that this production is sponsored by Sega. Now on to the production. It's finally here, the global version of Persona 5 The Phantom X. This has been a project of theirs I've been actively following for so long now, but now you can access the full global experience for yourself. You can click on the link below to finally get a chance to see what all of the hype is about with P5X. Now, what's this production about? Well, for those new to the channel, I reviewed P5X way back during its original release, and I have to say, I genuinely loved it. Not only is it very reminiscent of the original Persona 5, but it heavily expands on its ideas, with new palaces, characters, and its own dedicated story. With that said, with my and several others' experience of this game, I'm here to make an overall comprehensive guide for Persona 5X. Basically, just give you an overview on everything you need to know about this game, some helpful tips, and some things that I'd go as far as to say exceed what Persona 5 has to offer. So join me as I take you through all the different activities, palaces, and other neat things you'll be able to come across in this game. Make sure to get your favorite 5-star character, because this is our ultimate guide on Persona 5 The Phantom X. As always, before we start, I just want to say that if you're enjoying our productions or you want to see more Persona-related stuff from us, be sure to press that subscribe button. And once again, thank you so much to Sega and Atlus for this wonderful opportunity. With that said, let's begin. For those of you who don't know, Persona 5 The Phantom X is a mobile gacha game. Released way back in April 12th of 2024 for select regions, it has been developed by Black Wings Game Studio. The story follows a high school student named Nagisa Kamishiro. He lives a pretty ordinary life until some strange incidents happen across his city. These are stemming from another world called the Metaverse, a place where the human psyche and their cognitions can be manifested in twisted forms. So it's up to you and several other characters like Lufel, Motoha, and Shun to stop this phenomenon. The best way to describe this for fans of P5 is, imagine if Persona 5 were to get a remake where they give it a massive overhaul to the sheer scale of it. Palace rulers have backstories in depth, in which you learn more about them as you progress through the palace. The first few palaces like Kyushi and Hiromu really reflect this new angle for the story. P5X is commentating on more than just the themes the original P5 had, but also the internal battles people face when they lose hope. It's a massive reimagining of Persona 5's ideas, so if you were worried that you might need to play the original before this release, that's not the case at all. The story will guide you really well and does a great job at explaining everything you need to know, from the metaverse, cognitions, you name it. As mentioned earlier, you're introduced to a brand new cast of Phantom Thieves, each with their own unique personalities, backstories, and Phantom Thief attire. My favorite is, and always will be, Kotone Montagna. Could you tell? There's plenty of variety in all of the different characters. From their abilities, to designs, to backgrounds, this is easily the most unique cast of characters I've ever seen in a Persona game. The gameplay in P5X stays very reminiscent to the mainline titles, but with some small tweaks to fit its mobile nature. You progress through a structured story mode, explore maps, shop for items, fight shadows and dungeons, and level up your characters. This is all very familiar territory, of course. What's most impressive about this, however, is how well these systems have been adapted for this kind of game. Despite being a gacha title, it doesn't feel watered down. Combat is turn-based, but way faster and streamlined. You still exploit enemy weaknesses using elemental skills through your personas. However, the baton pass system works a little differently this time around. Instead of choosing whether to pass your turn or act again, hitting an enemy's weakness makes you do a baton pass to a teammate, which they will automatically use a skill based on their own persona. You don't control what specific skill the character uses, but with good team building, you can chain insanely powerful attacks. One thing I love most about the combat here is that navigators are their own characters too. Unlike traditional Persona games, you can actually control their support skills in combat. They can buff your team's damage, apply shields, or other strategic advantages, and you'll want to invest in their growth just like your main fighters. All in all, the battle system is both simple for mobile but stays faithful to the mainline titles, making this the perfect entry for any newcomer and longtime fan. But combat's far from the only thing you can do here. There's tons of activities that can boost your social stats, which in turn can help you increase the confidence of all of the different characters you see throughout the story. Most of these activities are accessed through a menu system and use up some stamina. You can spend this to hang out with characters, raise social stats like charm or knowledge, or give gifts to increase your bond with party members. Social links function similarly to confidants in P5, providing rewards like passive bonuses, items, or even currency for contract pulls. You only get a limited number of stamina per day, so it's always good to plan out how to spend your time. But that's nothing compared to the school's music club minigame. I mean, check this out, they have a full-on rhythm game, with songs from the game itself. This is awesome! Now, this is nice and all, and let's say you're fully convinced on P5X, but there's just one more issue. What characters do I get? Do I need Joker? Oh my gosh, what is this? Stamina? My characters are too weak. What do I do? Like most games in this kind of style, there's a lot of things you need to take into account. So here's a few tips to help you get started and make your time playing P5X not as daunting as it seems. Prioritize coverage, not just damage. Unlike traditional Persona games where your protagonist could carry with some solid fusions, P5X requires a full team of 4 characters plus a navigator, meaning a big key to succeeding depends on hitting as many elemental weaknesses as possible in one turn. You should aim to have at least 3 elements covered. Also, always try to have a healer in your team if possible. They will absolutely make or break the battle. You'll also want characters who can give buffs and or debuffs. This is still a Persona game at its core. It's not so much about having the most attack power, but the ability to exploit weaknesses and endure longer than your enemy. Invest in your navigators. As mentioned earlier, the navigator characters like Okian and Puppet are completely different from say Futaba or Rise. Since you have full control over which one can be in your team, you can really find and build a navigator that can specialize in whatever you need for that team. This is incredible and can absolutely change the dynamic of each fight. This comes at a cost though, that being their overall utility and effectiveness is directly tied to their level and gear. Don't forget about them when upgrading gear or allocating resources. A well-built navigator can go as far as to remove the need for a healer in the front. Always fuse new personas. Fusing personas is the core of any entry in the series, and it's no different in P5X. Wonder is way more powerful than you think. Able to use 3 of any personas you have, making it super easy for you to cover any elements you might not have on your team. You can get personas very easily. You can get them after fighting enemies, doing events, or through the contract pulls. This leaves you far from any drought of personas in your arsenal, so absolutely make the most out of it. Max them out, fuse newer and stronger personas that you can give to Wonder. Fusion is heavily streamlined with clear recipes and suggestions that can help you, so make sure your equipped personas have a mix of damage types, buffs, and passives that can help your main team. Try out the other modes like the Velvet Trials. Velvet Trials are one of the toughest parts in the game. These are gauntlet-style fights where you need to defeat multiple bosses with strict conditions. Due to its challenging nature, this place is great for testing how well your team can hold up against tougher than usual battles. Use these modes to figure out if your navigator is pulling their weight, if your team synergy is solid, or if your current gear is not up to par with your other characters. While I'm mentioning it, be sure to try out the other modes as they release. Not only are they very good for the same reasons, they also hand out a ton of rewards. And lastly, by far the most important one, have fun! Persona 5 The Phantom X is a fantastic experience. My genuine best advice is to play the game at your own pace, experiencing the story, checking out the characters' confidants, and even just the very elements of the gameplay itself are what makes this game so fun. That's not to mention all of the new palaces, events, and activities you'll be able to do over the coming months. There's a lot of content planned out for this game. It's fair to say that if you're a die-hard Persona fan or just looking for a new gacha game to try out, Persona 5 The Phantom X is a must-try. And I'd say that's about it. As a whole, this game has been nothing but an incredible experience. If you're a fan of Persona 5 and just want more content to sink your teeth into, this is the perfect place. With loads of updates and new characters to check out, there's truly no better time to be a Persona fan. Thank you once again to Sega and Atlus for this amazing opportunity. You can click on the link below to finally get a chance to see what all of the hype is about with P5X. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll do some polls for Joker. I gotta get him this time. I know what I must do.